Hey everybody, this is the video for the Shim and the key plate using the AutoCAD web app. I've come in the AutoCAD web app, I've already signed in. Notice I've got AutoCAD web app here, and then I've got my Google Drive here. If you have not done this, you need to go to Add Storage Provider and then click on Add Google Drive. Click the account you want, and then say allow to give it access, okay? That will take care of that. So make sure that you do that. That's going to be important because you really need to be working out of your Google Drive, because that way that's going to allow you to be able to share your work with me when you're done. That's the way you're going to be able to upload it into Haiku, okay? So once you get it up, you'll see not only AutoCAD web app and mobile, you'll also see Google Drive. So when I click on it, it's going to retrieve my entire drive. So there's a bunch of it. And I'm going to scroll down to my Drafting 1 folder. And then I'm going to go in. I'm going to find my templates. These are alphabetical, by the way, when you're looking for something. I've got another folder here called Templates. It's going to open it up. And then I'm looking for my DWG file, which is the one with the blue icon. And I'm looking for template inches is what I'm looking for. So template inches right there. I'm going to click on it, open it up. Of course, it takes just a second, and there it is. Now I'm open and ready to go. Now I'm going to do automatically, I'm going to go Save As. I'm going to change the name of it. I'm going to put it right back. Now look here, this is putting it in my templates folder. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to put it in my other position. And I'm going to add a new folder. So I'm going to call this new folder AutoCAD Web App. And I'm going to put DWG, okay, DWGS actually, for drawings. Now you can spell it out. That's fine with me if you want to spell it out. If you want it to be that, you can go drawings, okay? So that way I know where I'm putting it. So I'm going to click there. I'm going to save it. Now what I'm saving here, I'm not saving my template. I'm going to make sure that I open that up. And now I'm going to save this as the Shim and key plate. Okay, Shim and key plate. Now I'm going to hit save. If you notice, what's going to happen, failed to reach server. This is usually because the internet connection was lost. Check your connection and try again. So let's try again. Let's see what happens. Save as. Okay, I'm going to go back into Drafting 1. Let's see if my AutoCAD web app drawings, there it is. Okay, highlight it. Get rid of everything. I'm going to say Shim. And this time I'm going to spell out and. Maybe that's what caused it. And key plate. Okay, and now save. There, that time it changed it. It may have been the and sign. Okay, so now I'm ready to draw. So what are we drawing? Well, let's look here and see. I'm going to get into my drawings and show you what we've got going on. So I'm going to drag this over so I can go back and forth with it. All right, so here's the Shim. Notice it's got the cut off corners, and then here's the key plate. So the Shim, first thing you always want to do is start with a box, your overall size. You're always reading between your arrowheads, just according to which way your arrowheads are turned, but you're still reading between your arrowheads, okay? So this object is 7.5 wide, and it's 4.5 tall. So let's go do that then. So I'm going to click here, I'm going to come into my web app again. I'm going to start with just the line command. Here's my line command, okay? I could type line, either one's fine, but I'm going to click on line and pick my first point. So I'm going to pick here. Now I'm going to drag over. Notice I've got the blue box up there. Notice that number changes, 1.65, 1.75. I'm just going to type 7.5. That's all I have to do and override that number. Now it gets off the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll my roller wheel toward me, and then I'm going to mash it down and hold it. This is called pan. Rolling the roller wheel makes it bigger or smaller. It's called zooming. And if you mash it down, that's panning, getting it where you want it. Okay? So now, how tall was it? It was 4.5 tall, 4.5. Now, if you notice what I've done, I'm going to back up. 4.5. See the green line? That shows the direction that I'm drawing in. So there we go. Now watch this. See my green line? There it jumped to 45. Here it's jumping to 90. So what's doing that is this. I've got this thing set to 45 under polar. Make sure yours is set to there. And the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure, if I go to Object Snap, this little button here, you want to make sure that all of these are checked down to extension. Then you want Geometric Center checked. and it'll jump back into command and make sure tangent is checked. So if I look at it now, and it jumps back and forth every time, you want everything down to the second line checked, okay? Okay, so I'm going to hit the escape button to where I can get back into this, into my drawing. Oh no, my line command quit. Well, I can go right back into line, find my green box. That's my endpoint. That's what that object snap gives us. A green box is the endpoint. A green triangle is the midpoint of a line, okay? And I want the green box, so I'm going to click. Now I'm going to come over here. I could type 7.5 in again, but now I'm just going to hover. I'm not clicking, and I'm going to drag straight down. See my green line? Now watch it. I'm going to get a horizontal green line. There it is. There's my point. Now I can left click. I'm going to go back up and close my box. There we go. Now, if you right click here, it's going to say confirm, or I can click confirm placement down here. Either one will get you out of the command. So I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger. If you take and drag this down, if you notice it gets kind of light down here, it's because you're behind your command line, okay? So I always like to work up in this area and not get down in here behind this. Excuse me. So what's our next thing that we want to do? Okay, so we've got that drawn. So let's go back and look at our object again. Let's put this square in here, okay? Notice it says square, SQ, and it says 2.12. On your cheat sheet, your decimal, fractional, and millimeter equivalent cheat sheet, if you look at 2.12, it's going to tell you that that equals, the whole number is 2, then the 0.12 is 1/8 of an inch. But you can't just type in 12. You've got to put the 5 in behind it to get the whole number. So if I did it in decimal, I would have to type in for a distance 2.125. Okay, and then there's another way of doing it also. So let's go back into the command and I'll show you that. So this time I'm going to use the rectangle command because I need to be able to move this all as one unit. Because right now, if you notice, if I click here on that line, it's just one line. But I want to be able to manipulate my square as a box itself, the whole thing. So I'm going to slide that over a little bit. I'm going to go to rectangle. Rectangle, specify first point. It really doesn't matter. I could put it here on the object, but I like drawing it over here. So I'm going to click. And now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on dimensions. Anytime you see a box, you can use what's in that by clicking on it. So it says, now it defaults to 10 inches. Well, we don't want 10 inches. We said that that was 2 1/8. So I can type in 2.125. Okay? Or, I'm going to back it out, 2-1/8. That's 2 1/8. You have to put the dash between it. Because that, if you don't, it's going to be 21/8, and you can't put a space. Now I'm going to hit enter, and it'll remember that. Now it says specify your width, because that was length. Again, 2.125 or 2-1/8. Okay? Now be careful. See what I did right there? I accidentally hit a decimal point. It won't read that. And hit enter. Okay, see, it didn't like it. 2.125. There we go. Now, that's got it drawn. Okay, but see, it went away. What happened? Every once in a while, they'll do quirky things. So let's do it again. Let's specify first point, dimensions. Hey, it remembered it, but look, it says 2.13. It's rounding off to 2 decimal places. As long as you typed in 2.125, you're good. Hit the enter key. Width, hit the enter key again. There's my box. Now, which way do I want it turned? It really doesn't matter, but I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to left click. There's my box. Now, remember, if I click on that line, it's just a line. Okay, that's one way of picking something. By the way, there's 3 ways of picking something. I can click on something. There we go, that picks it. Or I can do what's called a pick window. Start at the left, mash your button down and hold it, your left button, and draw a box. This box is going to be blue. And everything has to be completely inside that blue box for it to pick. So look, the only thing it's going to get is the vertical line. See it? Or I can start at the right, and I can start down, or I can start up. Everything, I'm going to mash my button down and hold it. Now look, I've got a green box. Everything that's completely inside the green box, the vertical line, or the 2 horizontal lines, because I'm touching them, it will pick if I've got a green box. Okay, so you need to know those 3 methods of picking something. So remember, when I just clicked on this, it was one line, even though it's a rectangle. Well, watch what happens when I click on this. Because I drew this using the rectangle command and not the line command, it gets it all. That's good to know. The reason why, we need to move this. So where's move at? Well, you do good by using the draw commands, but right here's where you make your money. This is good. Modify. These commands are really important, okay? So we're going to move first. Here's my move command. If you'll hover over each one, it'll tell you what it is. Okay, so I'm going to click on move. See, it comes up, select objects. Watch. I'm just going to mash down on my left button, hold it. I'm going to drag across that far because it's going to pick it all and turn loose. There, got it all. It still says select objects. Okay, hit confirm selection. Now, specify base point. Well, because this is drawn as a rectangle, notice when I touched it, the little star thing appears. I can pick, that's called the geometric center, which is good. So I'm going to pick there as my move point. Look, I've got it. Now, where do I want to move it to? Well, I need it the very dead center of that rectangle. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that polar tracking thing. I'm going to hover up here over the midpoint, and I'm going to start tracking down. Now I'm going to hover over the midpoint here. There's my triangle. I'm going to start tracking across. There, it found it for me. It's called triangulation. It'll find it for you. And I'm going to click there. That's dead center. Now I need to rotate it. Remember that drawing? It's rotated 45 degrees. So let's go back and do that. Well, right here's the rotate button. It's a modify to. So I'm going to click on it. Select objects. I'm just going to pick it this time. There we go. Still says select objects. Just hit confirm. That's the only one I want. Now I want that midpoint again because I want to rotate it around the midpoint. Click. And because we've got that thing set to 45 degrees, notice it will jump every 45 degrees. Or I can just type in 45 and enter. If I come right here and pick, it'll turn it 45 degrees. There it is. That's all we got to do with that. That's pretty cool. So now let's put those cutouts that's on each side. See here? They're 1 inch high. Now how deep are they? Oh, up here's that number, 1.5. So I need to do that, okay? So let's go back and do that. So I'm going to go to my draw command because I'm drawing lines. Line. Now, that was centered on the midway point. Well, there's my midway. But watch what I'm going to do. I'm not going to click it. It still says specify first point down there at the bottom. Now I'm going to start dragging up. See my green line? And I can tell it go up 1/2 inch. 0.5. Enter. There's my first point right there where it's anchored. Now, remember, it was 1.5 inches in, so I'm going to type in 1.5. Now I'm going to come down. This time, instead of 1/2, I'm going to type in 1 because the whole thing was 1 inch wide. And then I'm going to come back and touch here. Now all I have to do, confirm placement. Okay? Remember, if you're not using a mouse to try to use this program, you've got problems. Go get a mouse. If you can't find a mouse to use with your computer, let me know, and I'll make sure you've got one, okay? But you have to let me know if you have no way of getting one. So there's my box, okay? Now I need one just exactly like it over here. Well, let's go back to modify. We've got a command called mirror. Mirror will take something, and just like you mirror something around, like a book. So I'm going to go to mirror, and like always, it says select objects. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to start to the right, mash my left button down, drag across to the left. I get my green box. As soon as I get that line completely in it and touching the other two, I'm going to turn loose. It selects all 3 of them. Confirm selection. Now it says specify first point of mirror line. I need a point that's exactly halfway between this and where I want it. Well, hey, the midpoint of that line would be that, so I'm going to click. Now it says second point. I can drag down. It just has to be vertical. I could touch these because those are vertical as well, but don't get at an angle. Look what happens. It's weird. Or I can just click out in space as long as I'm horizontal. Okay, I'm sorry, vertical. I'm going to click right there, and it says delete source object. That's what's in blue. No, I want to keep it. So click on the no button. There they are. Okay, so now I need to get rid of this right here, okay? I need to get rid of part of the line. See, there's the whole line. If you want to get rid of all the line, use the erase command. But I only want to get rid of part of the line. So I'm going to trim it. So I'm going to hit trim. And notice it says select object to trim. So if I come here and touch it, it shows me what it is. Yeah, that's it. And I want the same thing over here. Watch this. I'm going to mash my left button, drag across it with a little line. Just make sure you only touch what you want to, and then turn loose. It'll do that. There we go. Pretty neat, pretty easy, okay? So now the only thing we've got left to do on this one is cut these corners off. Well, some of the commands that you find on the full-blown AutoCAD program, they don't appear as far as a picture goes or an icon on the web app, but they're still there if you just know what to type in. So if I cut the corner of an object off, like here, notice it's 1 and an 8. Remember, 1, 2, 5, not just 1, 2, or 1-1/8. Either one's going to work. Down 1 and an 8, cut a 60-degree corner from vertical. See the arrows? From vertical, not from horizontal. Okay, so from vertical. So 1 1/8 down, 60 degree. Well, that command is called a chamfer. Well, there is no chamfer on here. There's a fillet that rounds off a corner. We're going to use that on the next object, but we want to cut it off at a corner. So what am I going to do? By the way, I didn't hit confirm selection. I've got a clean command line, so I'm going to type CH, and when I get that far, look, chamfer appears. Click on that. Okay, so remember, I had an angle. So if you've got an angle, you're going to need to click on angle. If all I've got, let's go back to that drawing again. Let's say it said 1.12 down and 1 1/2 in. That would be two distances. If that's the case, I would use the distance function. But if I've got an angle, I'm going to use the angle function, okay? So 1.125 or plus 60 degrees. So let's go back and do that. So angle, specify length. Oh, that's that 1.125. 1.125, or remember, 1-1/8. That'll work. Now, specify angle, 60 degrees. Now remember, it's from the vertical. So I have to click on the line the measurement was on first. So I click here, and then click here. Wow, ain't that neat? Now, I want to do it again. So how do I get back to it? Well, I'm going to right mouse click. Repeat last command, yeah. And look, it remembers my numbers. So again, vertical, horizontal, right click, repeat last command. Vertical, horizontal, right click, repeat last command. Vertical, horizontal. And then I can hit escape to get out. Y'all, that object is done. That's it. That's all there is to it. Pretty neat, huh? Okay, so let's go start the other one. Now, where am I going to start it at? Well, I'm going to just start it over here somewhere. But let's go look at the object. And we slide down. That was the shim. Now we're going to draw the key plate. So how big is the key plate? Remember, this one was 7.5 outside to outside, 4.5 outside to outside. All right, so our biggest number's here, 5 and 2.5. Uh-oh, that just goes to here and to here. But this object comes way out here. Oh, look here. This radius is 1 inch. So from here out to here is 1 inch. So I have to add an inch in every direction. So instead of 5, add an inch here, that's 6. Add an inch here, that's 7. So it's 7 wide. 2.5 plus an inch is 3.5 plus an inch is 4.5. So 7 by 4.5. Okay, we can do that. So let's go back. Let's say line again. That's under the draw command. Line. Now I'm going to I'm going to hover here just so they line up. I'm going to come over here, I don't know, about 5 inches or so. I'm going to just type in 5 for my first point. Okay, now it was 7 inches wide. There it is. I'm going to mash my button down and hold it. And it was 4.5 inches tall. There we go. Now again, I can type in 7.5, or I can come here and hover, not click, and then drag up and get my green line, and then get my horizontal green line, and now click, and then come back and get my green box. Look, I'm getting an X instead of a green box. That time I got the green box. That's what I'm wanting. And hit confirm. I can hit what I did there was I accidentally hit the right mouse button, but it'll give me this little thing, and I can hit confirm there or confirm placement here. Either one will do it. Okay, so there we go. Pretty easy. So now what do we need to do? Let's go back and look at our drawing. I know what. Let's put this great big circle here in the middle. It's got a diameter of 3 inches. Okay, so let's go into our drawing. Let's do circle. Circle. Specify center point. Oh, the middle of my box. Oh no, I drew it as a line, so I don't have my geometric center. But I can hover and drag across, and I can hover and drag down. There it is. Click. Now, wait a minute, that was diameter, and I'm doing radius right now. See, specify radius. Well, I could take that diameter and divide it by 2, and that would be 1.5 because it was 3. Or look, here's a box. Click on the box. Now I can type in 3 and enter. There we go. That got it. That worked out well. Okay? Let's go back and look at our drawing again. Let's round off these corners now. Remember we said a minute ago that this was a chamfer when we bevel or cut them off at an angle? Well, now we're going to round them off. This is called fillet in AutoCAD, okay, or in the web app. So we got a fillet, and our radius was 1 inch from the center point out, okay? So let's go back in. Wrong button. Let's go back in, and let's go to modify, and there's that fillet. Now, fillet, Select first object. But look, our radius is 0. Now that radius was 1. Hey, there's a radius button. Click on it. 1 and enter. Now it says radius 1. Now specify objects. Click there and click here. That's it. Hit the right mouse button, repeat last command. Cool, it remembered my number. I love it when it does that. Click here and here. Right mouse click, repeat last command. Click here and click here. There it is. Right mouse click, repeat last command. Click here and click here. And then I can just go ahead and hit the escape key because I'm done. The escape key, by the way, is on your keyboard. Okay, so use the escape key to get out of the command. Or of course you can always right click and hit confirm. So there's that. Now, how about the holes that's around the corner? Let's go back and look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, here's a note that says 4x, and in this funny symbol, 0.75. 4x is the quantity. There's 4 of them. And then this is the diameter symbol, how big that circle is all the way across. It's a hole in the object. And then the measurement is 0.75, which you know is 3/4 of an inch. That number's right. It's not like 0.12. That number's okay. Okay? So there's 4 of them. But now where do I put them? Well, look. The center of this circle is exactly the same place as the center of this arc. That's called concentric. Anytime an arc and a circle, or 2 circles, share the same center point, it's called concentric. So that's going to come in handy. So let's go back and do that. So I'm going to go back into circle. I'm going to say circle. Specify center point. Watch this. If I touch that arc, the center point appears. So now I can click on it. I get a circle. Now, how big of a circle? Oh no, I'm in radius. I'm going to change the diameter, and I'm going to type in 1 and enter. There it is. Now, I can do the very same thing at every one of these, but watch this. Here's a really cool command. Let's do modify, and let's do copy. Select objects. Okay, that one. It's the only object I can select because that's the only one I need. Hit right click and hit confirm, or hit confirm selection. Specify base point. Well, the center of that circle. Now, where do I want to move to? How about the center of this arc? Touch the arc. There's my center point. Touch the arc. There's my center point. Touch the arc. There's my center point. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Now, look at this, though. See these half circles here? They're 3/4 of an inch in diameter, too. See the number? It goes all the way across the edge. And look, they line up with this center line and that center line. I wonder if we can triangulate. Let's go see. So there's my center point. Drag out. Yep, it does it. So I'm going to click there. Where's my center point again? There it is. Now drag across. Touch this circle. Drag down. There it is. Click. There's my circles. Hit confirm. Now I just need to put lines here that attach this. So I'm going to go back to draw. I'm going to go to line. And the top part of a circle in the 4 points is called its quadrants. So I want the top quadrant back to the X. That's the intersection where it touches the circle. Now I'm going to hit confirm placement. I want to go back in line, so I'm just going to right click and repeat last command. Now the bottom quadrant to the circle. Right click, confirm. Now I could mirror these around. Let's do that. Or I could just come over here and draw them just like I did there. But if I go to modify, say mirror, and now I want to mirror these 2 lines. Green box, I'm holding my left mouse button down and I'm dragging to the left. There we go. I'm going to hit confirm selection. Mirror point, top of the line. I want to be halfway between where they're at and where I want some. So right there, drag down. The center point would work, so I'm just going to click there. There we go. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to hit trim. Oh no, I didn't finish the command. So that's important. You need to remember that. So let's go back and do the mirror again. Grab them. Make sure you get a green box. Okay. Confirm selection. Top. I'm going to go all the way down to here this time. Here. Yep, that's it. Erase source object. No. There. That time I finished the command. Now, trim. So what do I need to get rid of? Well, that part of the circle needs to go. Or I could like start here and just draw a line. I'm holding my left mouse button down, just drawing a line across them. Same thing. There it is. That's pretty cool. Hit confirm selection. Okay. So what else do we have to do? Well, this thing's called a key plate, and the reason why is this and this is a keyway. Okay. That's why it's called a key plate. But if you notice something, look, see this measurement here, 0.38? Well, again, that number is actually 3/8 of an inch. 0.38 is 3/8, like the fraction, but it's 0.375. It's rounded. Okay? So remember, you're going to have to do 0.375 or 3/8 there. Now, the interesting part about this is if you notice right here, notice what we've got. See that point is right there where that line and that circle intersect, that 3/8 is? It's not, look down here at the bottom, so it's here to here. It's not here at the center of the circle where it touches the line. There is a difference there. So what we got to do is we got to put these vertical lines in first. And how are they laid out? Well, they're 0.75 wide. Oh, they're centered on that line. So I need to put that line in the middle in first. Okay, so let's do that. So let's go back to our drawing. Let's go to draw. Let's go to line. And let's draw us a line from here to here. There we go. And hit confirm. Now, remember, what it said was 0.75 wide. Well, if half of it's here and half of it's here, how can we do that? Let's open up a calculator. I just opened one up. So 0.75, half and half. So 0.75. And you'll get to the point you know this in your mind, but we'll do it this way this time. Divided by 2 equals 0.375. It's the same as that number. Okay, so we can do that. All right, so let's go back into our drawing here. Now let's go to a new command, offset. See it right here? Offset will create something just exactly like it at a given distance. So I'm going to click on it. Oh no, select object. I want to do a distance, and it didn't give me the option to. I'm going to hit exit. And I'm going to right mouse click, and I'm going to hit repeat last command. Yay, look, specify offset distance. There we go. Click and type in 0.375, or you could go 3/8. Either one, it's the same thing. Hit enter. Now select object, that line, and then come over here, and I get way off the object and click. Same thing again. Click on the very same middle line this way and click. Now look at the difference between here and here. That's why we've got to measure from here instead of from here. Okay? So let's go back to our drawing. It's 3/8 up to this horizontal line. Remember, 0.375 or 3/8. So let's do that. And we'll do the top one first because that's the one that's there. So let's go back to draw, go to line, and grab here at this intersection. Now I'm not going to click, I'm just going to hover. Now I'm going to drag up and type in 0.375. Remember, 3/8 will also work. There's my first point. Now come over here and get your X and click. There it is. Now I need one just like it down here at the bottom. Two ways. I can either do the very same line command or I can mirror. I think I'll mirror. Mirror, what do I want to mirror? See, select objects. That line. Now I'm going to hit enter. That's the last thing I want. Oh, confirm selection. Now specify mirror point. Well, the middle of the circle would do it. I'm going to drag straight out horizontal this time, and I'm going to click. There it is. Get rid of source object. No. Okay. Now all we need to do is go back into trim again. So let's go to trim. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that or that. We don't need that. We don't need that. I'm going to use my pan function. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. And we don't need that. Notice I left the line in the middle. Okay, and then confirm selection. There we go. So now what do I need? What do I need there? Well, what I need is I need this to be a center line. But right now, if we go over here and we look at layers, I'm going to click on layers. Notice this is blue, object is. We've drawn all these lines on the object layer. I need a center line right there. Because center shows one of two things. It shows circularity or it shows symmetry. So notice this drawing is exactly the same to the right as it is to the left. Hey, it's exactly the same at the top as it is to the bottom. So I'm going to click on that line. And I can just come up here and click on center line. The other thing I could have done is I could click on properties. Notice, when I've got this line highlighted, I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to click on it, and it tells me the properties of that line. It's on the object layer, so I'm going to click and drop down. Remember, I'm in properties. I'm going to change it to center. There's what I'm looking for. Cool. Now I want to make this longer. It needs to be longer so it's not confused as another line type. So I clicked on that blue box. I'm going to drag down, and here I'm going to say 0.25 and hit enter. Uh-oh, what happened? Let's undo that. Let's see what happened. When I clicked and I grabbed that grip and started dragging down. That's the entire length of the line. So I need to remember that that's 4.5 and go a quarter longer this way and a quarter longer that way. So it would be 0.475 down, and then it would be 5 when I go up. The other thing, is there another way to do that? Yeah, there is. I can go back into offset and look, specified. No, I don't want to do object. I want to change my distance. So I'm going to exit. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say repeat last command. Specify distance. 0.25 and enter. Notice I'm going to drag it over a little bit. Now I want to offset this down 0.25 and I want to offset this up 0.25 and say confirm. Now I can take and stretch this out to that point and grab this blue grip and drag down and stretch it out to that point. There, that's good. You know what, while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing left and right because it remembers my 0.25 distance. Oh no, what did I do wrong? Let's go back into offset again. 0.25, okay. So click and go left. It's still wanting to do it. It's not wanting to put in my distance. So I'm going to type in 0.25 this time. Okay. Every once in a while it does some weird things. You got to be careful. Click. Oh no, it's not snapping to a point. So again, just type in 0.25. Okay. Now I want a center line going this way. Well, watch this trick. This is kind of neat. Remember I mirrored earlier, but I can also mirror and get perpendiculars instead of just parallel. So mirror, select objects. Well, that one. Now I'm going to hit enter. Hit confirm. Now, the middle of the line. Remember we had that 45 set up under polar down here a minute ago? Remember that? See there? If I drag down to 45 degrees, it'll jump to that position. I can drag up to 45 degrees. Either one's fine. Click. And look, it does a horizontal for me. Say no, because we want to keep our source object. Now I can just take my blue grip again, click on it, drag out to the middle of that line, click on this one, drag out to the middle of that line, and there we go. Now I want to get rid of all 4 of these. There we go, okay? Now, I need center lines here too. Well, guess what? I can use this one. I'm going to use the copy command. Copy that object. I'm going to hit enter and say confirm. Now, from the midpoint, look at this. The midpoint of this arc is dead center. Same thing here. Hover over it. There's my midpoint. Click there. Pretty good so far. Hit confirm. Now I need a horizontal right here. Well, how am I going to get that in the right place? Well, this takes a little bit of work, but it happens. Do you notice I left this line over here? Did you see that? Well, why in the world did I leave that? Well, watch this. Now I need a center line. Now look, I'm still drawing. If I go back to layers, object is still my current layer. So everything's on the object layer, but I need a center line. Well, I can draw it and change it through properties, or I can change which layer I'm drawing on. If I click here, notice now that's blue. So now when I go to draw and go to line and click here, look, I'm going to click here and I'm going to drag all the way over to the edge of the circle. There we go. That's got it a 1/4 of an inch longer here, but I needed a 1/4 of an inch longer here. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to grab that grip, and look, it's 1.75. A 1/4 of an inch more would be 2, and enter. There it is. Okay? Hey, while I've got that highlighted, you know I could copy that. So let's go to copy, and let's use this as our base point. And now watch. Center of circle. Cool. And then hit confirm. Now I'm going to get rid of this, delete. And then I'm going to mirror these over here. So let's go back to mirror. Now I'm going to select 2 objects. That one and that one. And then confirm. First point of mirror line. Hey, the end point of that line works for me. And then how about the other end point, just to be safe? Oh no, I lost that one. What happened? Well, let's go back and see. Let's go to mirror again. Let's pick this one. Oh, it changes. It only lets you get one at a time. Okay, we'll just do one at a time. So again, we'll click here and drag up. It's still quicker than drawing. Get rid of source object? No. Now let's go back into repeat last command. Get that one. Say confirm. And then let's drag down again and put it there. And look, there it is. It's done. So that quick we drew both of those, okay? So I want you to draw these, and when you get done, of course, now you need to hit save. Remember, you've already named it Shim and Key Plate. If yours still says template, you've got problems. Remember, we should have changed the name of that at the beginning. So I can hit save now because I've got it the right name, and now you can go into the Haiku page, take it, and upload it from your Google Drive, okay? Have fun, enjoy it, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.